Alright, so welcome on in to my Nobushi guide. This is going to be a pretty tame guide. I'm not going to go through everything. I've got like a list of things that I want to go through. I should have really changed the opponent to who I wanted at the start because it displays everything I need. But we're going through 5 different points. So we're going to start off with parry punishes. These are pretty standard. We're only going to be doing the light and heavy combos, the light and heavy parry punishes is the out of stand punishes and all this. I'm not too sure about right now. I'm going to wait for Freeze to sort of do that because that's his thing. And he's more precise with that. But definitely for the light and heavy parry punishes, I'm going to show them whenever this Lawbringer... Oh, he's over here. So here's our Lawbringer. We'll get him to do a light into heavy. And I'll show you. Alright, let's not do the top one. So, a light, which is indicated by the saturation. As you see, that wasn't saturated, but that was. This guarantees you a heavy on any side. You can do a side, you can do a top, it doesn't matter. Now a heavy, which is not saturated and tends to be the slower of the two moves, guarantees you a Viper's Retreat. Now the Viper's Retreat is 18 damage, it's 8 direct I believe, or is it 7? No, it's 6 direct. And then 3, what is it? Is it 12 bleed? So it's 6 direct and then 12 bleed from there. This gets you 18 damage overall, which isn't great. It's down from 26, which is a bit of a shame. But if you bleed on the heavy parry, then you parry whilst they're already bleeding. So you can do a zone, which is done by pressing light and heavy together, which guarantees you 24 damage if they're bleeding. This is because Nobushi has a hero specific called Way of the Shark, which does 20% extra damage when hitting someone already affected by bleed. This is probably the main way she's getting her damage in now. So you bleed, and then when they do another heavy, you parry that, and you zone for 24. This is a huge increase, like the 20% is mad. It's really good, and you need to make the most of it. Now, what does this do about her light parry punish? Well, this turns it up from 32 to 39. Again, huge increase of damage, and is definitely what you want to opt for when it comes to her damage. Now, let's talk about her only chain that really matters. Hiss and Bite, you know, it's there. You can use Hiss and Bite if you want, and Death Rattle for what I'm saying, but the interesting one is Poke the Nest, because if we go down to another hero specific, the light attack combo, the third chain light is guaranteed if the second one hits. That means, in simple terms, when we turn off the Lawbringer doing his heavies and his lights, when I do that into that, if that second one hits, then I get a third one that is free. This is basically a free hit. Technically speaking, she only has a double light chain, but that third one is confirmed anyway. However, you can still do 3 lights that are just missed. This is pretty good for when you're doing like whiffs and this, that, and the other, but I won't get into whiff tech right now. So, what does this mean for hidden stance? Well, as you can see, hidden stance is indicated with C, or I think it's back on the right analog stick if you're on console or if you're on controller. Now this is Poke the Nest. It's the same move, but hidden stance counts as the first light. So second light, third light, and because the second one hit, the third one is confirmed. Now that was just me delaying it, so it didn't count because I ended the chain with my delay. I mean, you can just throw out the second one if you want. You don't have to throw out the third one. But you can do that. Now, what if I whiff the second one? Well, then you can throw out a delayed third one. This is just sort of like the really simple bit of it. But Poke the Nest uses hidden stance. And this is going to be our main, like, quote-unquote offense that Nobushi has now. Because she's basically become a light spammer that is easily reactable. So she's probably worse than Orochi in terms of her overall offense now. First things first, with hidden stance, you can't counter guard break anymore. It is impossible. You can't do it. But that's not to say you can't counter the guard break mechanic. Her lights have very little guard break vulnerability, so for example, if we get the Lawbringer to guard break, wherever the guard break button is, the thing at guard break, there we go. So whenever he does it, as you can see, I reacted to the guard break with lights because they have no vulnerability. Same with her heavies. Her heavies have no vulnerability to guard break, so you can just react to the guard break symbol with a heavy, for example. This is a good way of baiting. Conqueror has a very similar thing with his all guard, but what does the guard break counter? It can counter the kick if you're too slow, as you can see there. Let's see if I can do it again. Yeah, if I'm too slow, I can't use the kick to counter, but you can use the heavy and the lights to counter the guard break mechanic from hidden stance. This is important to know because it's the only way that you're going to shut down people trying to guard break you. So, how does her offense work? Well, I'm going to put a Reddit post down in the description if you want to go check it out in a bit more detail. But let's say you keep your range, you want to be your ranged character. This is the kind of range you want to keep. Enough where your lights will hit, but no one else's will. So if I get Lawbringer to light attack, you know, like at this range, it'll whiff. But, well, I whiff too. I guess Lawbringer isn't a great example because he's quite a ranged character himself. But as you can see, he whiffs his light there, I can still hit him. As you can see there, you know, I have better range than him. That's the whole idea. You want to keep that range where he is. Now, what does this mean? This means that I'm safe enough where I can attack, but they just can't. And this is why Hidden Stance is really good at range. This means they can't guard break me because I'm too far away. Well, they can't guard break me because I'm too far away. Now, you want to do, her main offense is now going to be her double light. Her double light is going to be her main way of doing things. Now, I would not recommend doing it from the opposite side chanters. You see in how her hand is doing the little peace sign or whatever over here on the left? Well, you can come out of Hidden Stance on that side. You can come out of Hidden Stance on this side, but I would not recommend it. Because this twirl animation is pretty long, and it really telegraphs the move. And I would not recommend doing this. So, stick to the top, and the side that you enter Hidden Stance from when doing these lights. Because they're a lot less telegraphed, there's less animation, and with the indicator being 366, it's very fast. Blockable by most people, yeah. But parryable, not so much, and people will try and parry it. It's just natural. So that's why you want to start doing the Hidden Stance heavies when they start trying to parry. If you can tell they're starting to parry, you might get like a little flicker of the animation because they maybe just missed their time, and then you can start doing the heavies or the heavy feint into guard break to catch their parry attempt. This is sort of the mix-up game that Nobushi has now. It's not great, but it's there. It's not as good as the Hidden Stance heavy into confirmed kick, but that's gone. So you're probably asking, well, what if the opponent just dodges on the indicator? Well, then you'd be right, my friend. That is a shutdown of Nobushi. But what about if they dodge to the side? Well, obviously they dodge my kick. They dodge my light chains. That would obviously be blockable, but I haven't turned it on so he blocks. So that would be blockable. The second light would be blockable. Same with the heavies. They just dodge the heavies. What can I do? Well, first off, you could do the heavy into feint guard break. I think that's kind of the most useless one in my opinion, because people can preemptively dodge when you go into Hidden Stance, and then, you know, they can just punish you for just even attempting anything. But what about this? You do the light into kick. This is impossible because it's something to understand that blocking recovery is faster than dodge recovery, and that's why that will be blockable, that second light, but this is undodgeable. I know FLX does this all the time. He did this in his ranked placements. I watched him do it all the time. It's a great way of doing it, of countering the dodge when they see the indicator. And then you can follow with either the heavy if they wall splat, or if they don't wall splat, then you can just follow it with a bleed. And that's sort of the mix-up. But what if they dodge backwards when they see the indicator? Because let's just imagine the Lawbringer dodges backwards because I have no one to help me. Well, the kick will be out of range. He's going to be all the way back here. He's not going to have any range to get the kick to land. Well, what you want to do then is you want to do the heavy in the guard that they are not blocking, because this way it catches them. This got an increase of range like by a lot, and as you can see there, I think me and my friends tested this. If Lawbringer stays where he is, if we get him to just wait there, alright, he's going to hold his position on there. I think this sort of range will hit him anyways, like regardless before the patch. I said hold your position, why are you walking towards me? So, I don't know what he's doing. Hold position. I don't understand this. Right. No, you're supposed to hold your position. Why is he following me? Okay. I think this will just be out of range. Yep. But if you come to about here, this looks out of range. Yeah, I was gonna say. Okay, but about here maybe. Yeah, there we go. So as you can see, there's quite a lot of range here, and this is about the distance that they would back dodge. If they back dodge, they're gonna get hit by this because of the tracking on it. But you need to make sure that they aren't blocking in that direction, and it will catch them. That is kind of her mix-up now. If they, you kind of have to predict if they're going to back dodge or side dodge or just not, or just try and block or parry. So to start the game, I'll definitely do some of that. When they start thinking, oh, okay, we'll parry one, then I can start doing that. If they begin dodging, obviously do the light into kick, and if they are dodging back the entire time, hidden stance into heavy. That is sort of the plan right now. That's her offense, quote unquote offense. It's not very good. It's not as good as the heavy hidden stance into kick. It's not as good as that, but it's alright. It's not amazing. It's definitely worse. But what about the kick from hidden stance? You know, surely that is useful in some way. And yeah, it is, but not in offense. Like I've said, the closest we have to that is when they dodge, and you can use that. I would not, and I repeat, not recommend using that from neutral. Going, oh, hidden stance into kick, easy peasy, because it doesn't work. What I would recommend doing is Lawbringer's shove, for example. So let's say Lawbringer's shove mix up, right? So block heavy. As you can see, he can't light attack me in time. He can't attack me in time for that recovery. He can't dodge in time either. Lawbringer's shove has really high, really like low recovery. So it means he can block really fast, and that's why you can't really punish the shove. As you can see there, his indicate came back, but it's because when, as you see, his indicate comes back. If I gave him the ability to block, he would, and obviously I traded with him there. But what about the kick? Well, the kick he can't dodge because he's in dodge recovery. He can't physically dodge it. So I would do this: block the heavy, see the shove, hidden stance into kick. That is the plan. That is the main way of using the kick as sort of the counter. It's the counter move from hidden stance now. It always has been ever since the speed increase. Use that rather than the double bleed. Rather than that, because that's blockable, you want to use the kick. And that's its main use now. Unfortunately, Nobushi doesn't have much else. So let's talk about delays. Delays are kind of like, they're kind of interesting, I will admit. They're pretty cool. So we want to learn about whiff tech, which is basically the ability of not actually hitting the opponent. And I'm going to go over 3 different delays of the kick. This is great for openers and things. So first things first, the light into delayed kick. As you can see, this is just a normal one, but this is the delayed one. Quite a big difference. And how I sort of judge this on my own is wait for the Naginata Nobushi weapon to sort of pull back. As she pulls it back into neutral, that's when you want to press the kick button, or guard break in your case. Now, as you can see, she pulls it back in, and that's when you want to do it. Her heavies are a very similar example. You want to wait until she pulls it up back to her head when it comes from the start, so it goes down to the ground, pulls it up to her head, that's when you want to kick. Now, that is the delayed kick. Same on the sides as she pulls it back round to her front. Unfortunately, I just messed it up. As it starts to pull around back to the front, that's what you want to do. Like that. So there, yeah. Now there's one more delay which is awesome, and this is the second heavy delayed. So you can do this from hidden stance, or you can do this from heavy, like that. And you can delay it, so I would say for about a couple milliseconds, it goes above her head, and that's when you can kick. As you can see there, that is like a long delay. And although this is really risky to do in a fight, it might be sometimes your only way to use it, and it's not bad. But what about whiffing light if they're closing in? Well, you can use hidden stance, backwards light. If you walk backwards while in hidden stance and do a top light, you'll do this sort of backwards walk. They got rid of many other ways of doing this sort of thing. You used to be able to dodge into backward light. You can't do that anymore, and it's kind of annoying. So yeah, they got rid of a lot of ways of doing that, but that's another way of whiff attack which could be delayed into your light attack. That's sort of the only offense Nobushi has anymore. This is the main changes to her, and this is sort of a new sort of updated version of how to quote unquote use her. Again, that Reddit post will be in the description if you want a full detail of how her so-called new offense works, if you don't quite understand my video. But this character is not good anymore. She was never good to begin with, and now she's even worse. These are just sort of the changes that I've gone over that have massively impacted her. I've not gone over damage changes, and the moves that I've not gone over, like Sidewinder and Cobra Strike, just haven't changed fundamentally. So there's absolutely no point in going over them. Something I would say is make sure that when you do the double light, that you can flow right back into hidden stance. All of her chain finishes can flow right back into hidden stance. This is a great way of keeping her flow up. I would say that. Just keep that in mind. But her stamina is still pretty bad. Anyway, that link's going to be in the description for the what you call it. I'm going to try and make a Nobu video, like an actual 1v1 video. It's very hard. I haven't found anyone that I like enjoy fighting, because A, they're all like level 1s for some reason, and B, I'm gonna yawn. And B, it's just either I'm not playing as well as I want to, and I'm losing most of my matches with Nobu. So she's just a hard character to get 1v1s for, and I'm not happy with the videos that I've got so far. So I'll try and get more for you. One that I'm actually happy with, and that way I'll upload. That's why I haven't uploaded in like 4 days, is because I'm just trying to get some Nobu clips and some like Nobu video, like a Nobu video going that works really well. Anyway, so these are the major changes. Be sure to use them. They are like the most important things of Nobushi's kit now, and I will hopefully see you in another video, guys. So I'll see you in a bit.